harsh on action, and I want it to mean something and have a style of its own and have an idea that I haven't seen before, which is not easy because, you know, there are more action movies every year than probably anything else, but I've loved it.
Sam comes from a very theatrical background, and it's been really refreshing to see a director looking outside of the normal action parameters of a film. He knows exactly what he wants to see. He doesn't want it over the top, wants it real and believable.
All of us has felt the need that we need to push this movie as far as we could. We do things for real in Bond movies, and that's just the way it is.
In our films, it's a Bond is a real character, doesn't have superpowers, so it has to be exciting but real.
Daniel contributes a great deal to designing the action, and he's the one that really pulls it off. He wants to do as much of it as he possibly can. He's the reason why the action works as well as it does, because he sells it. He's up there, and I think audiences know that.
I felt very happy that I had a combination of people I knew very well, like Roger Deakins and Dennis Gassner, production designer, and then people who had been with the Bond franchise and the Bond world for many years, for a lifetime in some cases, who had that kind of know-how, like Chris Corboll, who is the head of special effects, and Gary Powell, who's the head of stunts. I can honestly say that actually some of the relationships I've enjoyed most have been with those that have done Bond movies before. I've always been very honest, like, well, I don't know how to do that. You know, how have you done this in the past? How does someone jump off a 90-story building? And to have that knowledge has been invaluable, really. I couldn't have done it without them.
This particular sequence, this effect, is probably the biggest mechanical rig that we've got to do on the film. As a pure set piece, this is our pistol de resistance, as it were. The actual mechanism for it was almost like an overhead roller coaster. We put lots of goalposts up out of big heavy gauge steel I-beams, and then put a overhead track in, and then dropped hangers down from that track, and then hung the train underneath it. And we built 2 full-size carriages, each which were 60 foot long, so we were dealing with 120 foot of carriage. We rigged it up to a big powerful truck and a cable system, and then turned the key on action, drove off, and in it came. One of the things we were concerned about that we had to pay particular attention to was stopping it, because the carriages themselves are something like between 12 and 15 tonne, and we only had a certain area to stop it before it hit the tank, the side of the wall of the tank in the 007. I think we were about that far away. But no, it worked a treat. I was very, very pleased with it.